We can see LED now becoming a real viable alternative because of what's happening in the markets. Well, what we're looking at now is more energy efficient systems, and LED definitely gives you that. If you look at conventional UV systems, we've been doing them now for 30 years. And what happened was UV power had increased. So you've gone from 160 watts up to 200 watts per centimetre. And what we've been working for is more energy efficient UV systems. And we did that with conventional UV, bringing the UV power down to 140. But now with LED, that even brings it down further by half. So there's a big energy efficiencies, but also maintenance. There's no moving parts, there's no shutters, there's no actuators, there's no lamps to replace. You're getting UV lifetime of in excess of 40,000 hours, and it's pretty much a consistent UV output over that time. So these are the benefits that you're getting. Instant on-off, so when the machine stops, the LED system comes down in power, and then the LEDs turn off. So when they're make ready, they're not using any energy from the UV system. For UV, yes, because it's an instant dry. It's a chemical reaction. Once the material, the ink, sees a high energy UV light, it starts a chemical reaction that you cannot stop. So it's instant curing. And that's what you get from a UV system. And it's exactly the same with UV LED. It's exactly the same process. It dries, it cures instantly. But in some applications, you get much better curing. If you run in opaque white, certain applications, laminating, you get much better curing with a UV LED system than you do with a conventional UV. Plus, as I said earlier on, you know what you're going to get over the lifetime of a system, whereas a conventional UV system, after 1,000 hours, 1,500 hours, the output of the lamp drops off, and you don't know what the curing performance is from when it was a brand new lamp. But you get the consistency with a UV LED system. And on a Flexo press, the UV system is one of the biggest variables on the press. UV LED, it takes that out. Correct, yeah, because you're running at a lower power, there's lower heat output. There's zero output, heat output from a LED system. Yes, there is some heat output, but it's a lot less than a conventional UV arc system. So yes, you can run more sensitive material, but most modern Flexo presses, new modern Flexo presses, they all come with the water-cooled chill roller. So the UV is mounted to a water-cooled chill roller, so they can run pretty much any kind of application, any kind of material, and then you're not limited to what kind of UV system you're mounting, whether it's conventional UV or LED. Most machines have water-cooled rollers anyway, so you can run all types of substrates. But you can also run what we call a straight-through web path. So presses that don't have water-cooled rollers, you can then have a straight-through web path, and you can run more sensitive materials than you could with conventional UV. When we're quoting customers, we're also giving them ROIs, return on investments. Depends what type of system they've got on there. If they've got a GEW system, which is less than 7 years old now, then you only need to do a partial upgrade, because the control system, the Rhino power supplies, can run conventional UV and LED. So an upgrade is pretty much the lamp heads, add in water-cooled chiller, water pipes, and also gives you opportunity to run both a conventional UV system and an LED system on the same press. So a lot of the return on investments can be below 24 months, but there's one we did recently where they had our water-cooled UV system. Now all they need then is the LED cassettes, and that was a payback of 7 months. 7 months return on investment. Even we thought, wow, this is something that really does promote LED now, especially with the energy prices. So yeah, we can see LED now becoming a real viable alternative because of what's happening in the markets. Some customers are buying now brand new Flexo presses with all UV LED. And if you're buying a new press, And for the slight additional cost to go from a UV system to a UV LED, and the whole cost of the machine, it's marginal. So if you're looking at a brand new Flexo press, then I think they should be looking at UV LED. And if you're going to go for a complete press, which is UV LED, new technologies, which we now have launched, is an air-cooled LED system. So an advantage of that is you then don't have the expense of the chiller and then the maintenance of the chiller. Now, an air-cooled system is just a fan keeping the system, the LEDs cool. And the system we have is pretty much 75% of what we supply for our water-cooled system. So it is very, very similar, apart from we're air cooling instead of water cooling. But it does depend on customers' applications. And as we speaking yesterday, all of the system we supplied in the last 3.5 years can be upgraded to LED. And it doesn't mean changing the whole system. The control, the power supplies, the HMI, that stays the same. It's pretty much the lamp heads that can be upgraded to LED. There's a few objections some of the times is because, well, it's a different type of ink. Yes, it is a different ink, it's a different wavelength, so the inks are formulated differently. But there are inks out there now, these dual cure inks. So it's the same ink that can be used conventional UV and UV LED. And of course, other thing is that they actually want to see it for themselves. You can tell them how great it is. You can tell them your experience from other customers, from tests that you've done, but they all want to see it for themselves. So when customers do move to UV LED, the response we get back is, why didn't I do this earlier? And I'm never going to go back to UV arc systems.